Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life and welcome to 12 Days of Sparkle and Shine. Today we are on to thread, and so I had a few ideas, and what I think I really want to do is this. I found this fun little cross stitch pattern on Pinterest. I simply saved it onto my desktop, traced it, and punched my holes using this beautiful gold pattern paper. And the back of it is one of my all-time favorites, and so I did keep a little strip so I could use it somewhere else in something. But my goal here is, and I did this for a few different reasons. I am pre-recording this video earlier in December for this series, and it kind of fit into different things. So it fit into using the gold. It could have done the sequence, which was day 1, gold was day 3, or it could be thread. And I'm going to go ahead and let it be thread because the thread is what's going to tie it all together, and the fact that it's a cross stitch. So I'm going to make that work and go with it. My goal here is I'm going to go ahead and do all of this. I'm not going to do it on camera. I'll do a little bit of it so you can see it, but you don't want to see me stitch and do a whole process video with me just stitching. So that's why this is live. And I am using my exclusive Spiegel Mom Scrap sequence for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I did receive these in my December daily kit that Christina sent me. But so my goal is I've got this beautiful thing of thread, and I'm gonna go ahead and in the middle of every single X, there is going to be a sequin. So for example, I'm just going to stitch it through, and so it's going to go like that, but there will be one in every single one. Now this is going to take me a while because I've never done this before with a sequence in the middle of something that's not actually being stitched down. There's no hole in the middle, so it's just going to kind of like float in the middle and between the cross stitches. So I have to make sure that's actually going to work, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to make that work, so you're going to kind of watch that part with me. I'm going to go ahead and start with the top one, and you can watch this part with me to see if it works. It's going to be an experiment, and if it doesn't work, I'll try to figure it out and explain to you how I did it so that you don't have to struggle just in case I do. So here we go. I'm using teal because it's one of my favorite colors, and I can always make teal work in my December daily. I was not actually going to use a December daily theme. I was going to make all of my process videos for this series, 12 Days of Christmas, layouts, but this theme just seemed too perfect not to go ahead and use, and so I just really want to share it with you and use it. And I think it's unique enough and something different, and you could obviously apply this to a layout in any way, right? I mean, you could absolutely use this as a layout and do something maybe not quite this large, or maybe even larger. I mean, I don't know, it would be completely up to you. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and do the sequence because I do want it to be on the top layer there. So there we go. I think I used too much thread to begin with. I should probably use smaller amounts and just go about it in a smaller way. Let's see if that's gonna work. Let's see. I'm wondering if it doesn't, I think the problem will be the fact that it's not adhered to both of them, it's just adhered to one, and I might have to go back and get it stitched down, and I do kind of see that being an issue. Okay, so I'm gonna unthread it and try it. I'm gonna do the one this way and then one that way, and hopefully it'll be there. So I'll come back to let you see how that goes, and then I will come back once it's all completely done so you can see the whole entire thing and what I used for thread with this fun theme. Okay, so it does work. I just don't know that I like it. So I think my plan C is actually going to be to go ahead and just stitch. I'm going to go ahead and do all my stitching first and then come back, and once the stitching is done, tape. I'm literally going to take the time and glue every single sequin down in the middle of every single X. So that is going to be my plan. So I'm just going to simply go through, do my cross stitching, make it work, and then go back. And that way I can use some of the other sequins. There's a few sequins in there that don't actually have holes right in the middle, and I'll be able to use those ones that way. My biggest trick will be to make the sequence random, because I like to do things. I am not OCD really. I don't have to have things in a certain way, but I might just have to do that. So we will see. Thanks everyone so much. Bye. Okay, and the rest of this is going to be a voiced over video and sped up a little bit as well. So you're going to see me attempt to do the sequence. It doesn't work out. It was in my head. The idea of it was so cool, but it's just not going to work. So I'm not going to force something. I really love the stitching all on its own, and really I've made this prompt in this day about thread anyways. And so instead of focusing in and working on the sequins that I love and I really want to use them in a unique way, so I'm just going to keep them. I'm going to go ahead, and there is my enlarged photo of my son as a reindeer from last year's Christmas for his junior kindergarten class. That's a preschool class. It's just broken up into 2 years. He was a reindeer, and doing this reindeer kind of just fit in perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the deer part the day card or whatever, or an opening, I don't know, just a filler card, and then the photo be the day card. And because I wanted to add in a little bit more, I like the idea of originally doing like a number on the deer. I couldn't really make that work. I didn't want to cover it up. I actually really, really loved the way it turned out. I wasn't digging the 22, that's the day that this happened. I wasn't digging how that looked. So what I'm going to do instead is do more stitching and use more thread, because that's the point, right? So I'm going to go ahead, flip this to the day to make sure I know where it's going, and kind of think about how I want to make this work. Was I going to make it so that the deer goes on top and then I flip it and you see the photo, or am I going to make it like a spread so you can see the deer and the photo at the same time? I do go ahead and decide to do the spread idea, and I love the way this turned out. I think that it was the right choice. Because if I was going to do it as like a on top type thing, I think it would have needed to be like a clear, like I should have stitched and made it clear instead of the other way around. So this is going to work really well, and I just love it. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch. And of course, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do this. My final decision is to go ahead, and I am using the 22 from the Allie Edwards December Daily, and it just happened to fit perfectly. So when I went to trace it and poke the holes, it's all going to mix itself incorrectly. And I love the way this turns out. It did take me a moment to figure it out, and I had to go back and put the 22 back on and off a bunch of times just because I needed to make sure I was stitching in the right place. That was a little complicated, but once I was able to make it work, I loved it. And I do one of the twos in a lighter, like the lighter tone of the green, and then the darker tone of the green. Now the thread I'm using is a, what do you call that? An ombre type thread to begin with. And so I just was a little bit cautious about how I was going about that. And you can see I'm putting it back down to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And it did take me a moment to just get it all correct. But there you can see I have it, and I love the way it turned out. I poked my holes into my deer, and I'm going to slide my photo into a pocket page to save it. And then finally, to wrap it all up, I am going to use another little pocket that I trim, which is just so I can use 2 of the 3x4 squares. So I grabbed one of the ones that was the 4 3x4 pocket pages, and I just trimmed it right in half. And I'm going to use a couple filler cards, and then I had this little 4x4 squared photo that was going to fit in, and I'm going to use the one photo of Sean and Jackson and Nora. And if you can see the photo of Nora, she is freaking out. She did not want to be there. It was really funny. So you can see that. And then on the back, I just use some pattern paper and I put a little deer on it. Works well. I do my journaling talking about how this was he was the cutest little reindeer, and he tried so hard to sing along, which was really awesome of him because, you know, it was his first time doing it. So there's a look at my finished project all done. Please make sure to head on over and check out Daisy's take on what she did with thread today. This is an easy one for me, so I love doing stuff like this, and I really enjoy the way that turned out. The perfect spread, I feel. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see everyone tomorrow with another video for our 12 days of Sparkle and Shine. Bye!